Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 73. Today, we're going to be talking about a review of Solo, a Star Wars story. Joining me in the discussion today is Miss Heather Allred.
Hello.
And Todd Hoffman.
Hey, what's up?
You know, they say you don't really know what you're doing with a podcast until you hit 100 episodes.
Oh.
So we're getting there.
We're dangerously close.
Pardon the dust, but we are getting there. So bear with us. You can check us out on social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. Email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Or you can catch our entire back catalog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. Guess what?
What?
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.
What?
Oh my gosh.
You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WSTR. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now guess what? You, the listeners of WSTR Podcast, Audible's going to give you a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial if you go to audibletrial.com/WSTR. Those guys are losing their minds. Because guess what? If you cancel your trial, decide it's not for you, Audible's like, okay, listen up. We know things aren't going the way you want them to, but hey, keep the book.
Hey.
That's yours to listen to forever and ever, on repeat if you so choose. How do they even make money? They're just giving away stuff for free.
They're just giving away free stuff.
Yeah, so go over to audibletrial.com/WSTR. Sign up for a free trial. We get money. You get a fantastic audiobook listening experience. Audible gets your future customership, I guess, maybe. Everyone wins. That's audibletrial.com/WSTR. And with that, let's head on over to our main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
What is our main topic?
Pretty little thing called love. I mean, Solo.
Solo! It's finally here. We only had to wait like 161 days. It was a long wait, you know. So yeah, before we get into it, let's just set the timeline. Okay, so there's episode 1, episode 2, Clone Wars, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and then Solo, Rebels, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, Resistance, which is that new cartoon that hasn't released yet, and then you got episode 7, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, 8, and then the unannounced title of episode 9 is coming up. So Solo,
I feel like I need a huge poster for my bedroom wall,
right,
where it's just everything in order.
Well, it would have to be an electronic poster.
Yeah,
it would have to be an electronic poster because it's constantly changing, you know?
It should be like printed on that like chalkboard material that you can like paint on walls. And then you just kind of erase it, pencil it in.
Right. So Solo is in between Revenge of the Sith, Rebels, before Rogue One, and A New Hope. So there you go.
Alrighty.
Just to set the tone, you know, this is where it falls in. Because there were some questions, and we'll get to that later, but at the end it's like, wait a minute. Where does this fall? And it falls between Revenge of the Sith and Rebels.
So we're talking like 10, 15 years after I Have the High Ground?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the Empire is pretty established when we're in Solo here. So that kind of gives you a clue We're past the clone troopers. Okay. So before we get into spoilers, let's just talk about our overall review. Heather,
Yes.
what do you think of Solo, non-spoilers? Overall.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hooray! Hooray! Okay.
Is that all you did?
Is that all? Is that all you need? I can go more.
Well, I mean, just a little bit more, you know.
What did you enjoy about it?
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Chewbacca,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed Lando,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and I really enjoyed the person. I don't remember the name. You'll have to forgive me because I'm really bad with names in like real life, and so sometimes it just translates to entertainment. But as I stated in a previous episode, the warrior in the sand with the fans coming out of the helmet.
Yeah, what was her name?
What was her name?
Effie's Nest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the leader.
So
Yeah. Okay, cool.
in that revelation, I liked that.
Okay, I am.
Okay.
I'm
Okay. Yeah.
pursuing
We got to keep it
the-
non-spoiler here. Okay. So,
I'm
Aaron.
going through the Jedi archives right now. We're gonna figure this out.
Okay.
Yeah. Overall impressions. It was a very enjoyable, very fun adventure movie, which was not what I hoped it would be as like this kind of Western heist. There were elements of that, but it was not what it was really about. It was more of just an adventure film. However, it was still really enjoyable, and to me, the closest approximation of it, as far as like how it feels, is another Disney movie, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
That's
Good
kind
old
of the
popcorn movie.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Yeah, it's like a popcorn movie. It's not gonna blow you away, but it's not gonna disappoint either.
Yeah.
Just like a Ron Howard film.
I see what you did there. So you overall enjoyed it.
Yeah, the characters for the most part were either accurate to the characters that we know and love, or good supporting cast, in that I actually cared about them enough to care about what happened to them.
Sure.
The cinematography is just amazing.
Bananas.
True.
Yeah, the costumes are like
Bananas.
It was a buffet. Like,
Yeah.
I will never be.
Those were fried
I
bananas.
will always be
They're-
satiated.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the environments are awesome. Music was. See, I rag on the music of the new Star Wars because it's not as memorable as the old, but
Right.
and remind me to bring this up later because I have a story relating to me actually
Oh my
going to
gosh.
see Solo that involved this. But I was listening to the
Sure,
Rogue
we'll
One
remember that.
soundtrack. Yeah, I was listening to the Rogue One soundtrack. Okay, screw it. I'll go right into the story. So,
It's right there.
Thursday happens, and I have seats reserved, tickets already purchased for me and my brother to go see Solo. Showtime's at 7, and
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, and with my job, it's not unusual for me to get home between like 7 and 8, or perhaps even later. So I am just busting it all day. I had a schedule. I'm doing pest control for houses. I'm just knocking houses out. Bam, bam, bam. And I clock out, ready to go home. It is, I believe, 4:45.
Perfect.
And yeah, or so you think. The thing is, I am like 50, 60 miles north, up in Gurnee, Illinois. And I live in Naperville. And if you try to head down there through the interstate, anywhere
So you're trying
near.
to, hey, you're trying to do a Kessel run. You're like, I gotta make this at 12 parsecs. Let's go.
Exactly. I plot my course home so I could pick up my brother. It says like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Or so, yeah. Anyway, I was plotted to arrive home at 7:15, and I'm like, oh no, like we're gonna miss the movie because I'm in the work truck. I can't take that to the theater. I have to go to my house, pick up my brother, use my sister's car. It's like a 15-minute trip to the theater. So I'm like, great, we're gonna miss a good part of the beginning.
Right.
So I just drive within the legal safety limits on my way home, and it's looking. There's just traffic everywhere, slowdowns like you wouldn't believe, and the maps thing is showing like I'm gonna arrive real late, and I'm like, oh great. But then Siri pops up and she's like, hey, I found an alternate route that will save you 9 minutes, and I'm like,
you're like,
take it,
punch it, Siri.
Put it in a nav computer. Let's go.
Exactly. And so I'm listening to the Rogue One soundtrack to set the mood. I'm just cruising along, pick up my brother. We book it. And minutes away from the entrance, I'm like, hey, Josh, switch to Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. And it was the perfect arrival to a flawless Kessel run. We made it just in time.
You did.
All that to say, the music, I remember saying the Rogue One music was forgettable, but then I listened to the soundtrack and I'm like, there's a lot of good stuff on here. So all that to say, Solo soundtrack, probably better than I remember. So take that for what you will.
That was great. That
That's
had nothing to do with
all the talking I have for this episode.
Right. It had nothing to do with the review of the movie, but that was a good segue,
So enjoy my Kessel Run story.
Yes,
IRL.
no, that was good. So
my brother. Sorry, one last thing. My brother, he was a perfect, like, he'd be okay. I hope he doesn't pursue this line of work, but he'd be a great getaway driver because he saw me coming around the bend to drive home and pick him up. And he's got the keys in his hands. He gets into the passenger seat and starts my sister's car before I'm even out of the truck. I'm like, you dog.
We gotta go.
And he packed me like a sandwich for dinner. So,
wow.
Bless his heart.
That's amazing.
Best brother ever. Best getaway driver ever.
That's awesome. Got the other vehicle primed and ready for you, Oh,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna just say this for my overall review. I'm gonna pull Mace Windu. And I'm gonna say I think it's time we inform the Senate that our ability to use the Force has been diminished. Because I go in there, and I'm like, I like this movie. I came out, I like the movie. All right. Yeah. Then I go on the internet and I'm just like, I don't even know anymore. I really don't. I can't even. I don't know.
Wait, you're not sure if you like it or not?
No, but I'm like, maybe I'm just like, because I'm a diehard and I just love Star Wars, that I can find anything good out of it, I guess. So when I look at the internet, it's like, Solo, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I don't even know now. I don't even know if I can, it wasn't terrible. I can tell you that. It wasn't terrible, but.
Have you seen it a second time?
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Okay. And your impressions on the second time?
It was good. It was good.
It
was good. I liked it. I mean, well, that's the same. It's the same thing with Last Jedi. I'm like, I thought it was good, and then I'm like,
And that's all you need. I mean, can you come up with reasons why it's good, or that you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you this, guys. Like, I didn't like it as much as Rogue One. I guess I felt more in Rogue One. Like, I felt like, and maybe that's because, again, it's like closer to A New Hope. But yeah, I mean, it's not horrible. It wasn't like Attack of the Clones or anything. I don't know. I don't know. It for me, that's where it's like I get really difficult. Like, with all this, I don't know if it's just the thing to do now to hate on Star Wars. I'm not really sure. I don't know. You go on the internet, it's just like,
I mean,
the worst, and you know,
the internet's great, and it's also the worst thing on earth.
Yeah, it's
because like I don't know, you'll go to different communities like the Star Wars subreddit. They're generally very positive about the new Disney Star Wars movies, and it's like great, good for them. But is it possible they're overlooking things that need to be criticized? Well, yeah. But then you go to like, I don't know, Twitter, and you know, people are spitting out, you know, hot epithets against all who worked on the new Star Wars, and it's like, whoa, like, both of you can't be right.
Is it cool to hate on Star Wars now, or you know, I don't know. I'm that's where I'm like kind of in the middle of like, I think it was well executed, but I don't know if it was like the best. It's so hard because it's like, I don't know if we could ever reach
it to be the best. Did people say this is? So I think we have to keep that in mind. Like, just because we make a new Star Wars doesn't mean it's
with the Last Jedi fatigue and all that coming out of it. You know, everyone's, you know, just like Disney stinks and all this. They've ruined Star Wars. But then, guys, everyone hated the prequels. You know, like, I don't know. And it's George Lucas made those, you know, and it's like, but then people, you know, like now that's, you know, been a minute, people are saying, oh no, The Phantom Menace is like one of my favorite movies. It's like, okay, well, that's your entry point. I'm good with that, you know? So I don't know. I'm just like, I'm like Mace Windu. I'm just like, I don't know. You know, like maybe my force meter is just a little off. I'm not really sure, but because I like, for me, I want to keep an open mind and making sure that it's just not me. Oh, I love this and I love this. And maybe it's something, you know, maybe they can say things that I could possibly get out of it and be like, oh, okay, I understand your point of view, you know, instead of just like love it or hate it, you know? So.
Yeah, let's just dispel the notion that you have to either like or hate this movie. Like, it's not two teams. I don't want to say something again about the increasing polarization of American society, blah, blah, blah. But it's true. It's happening all over the place, including culture. So it's like, let's just, you know, put down the lightsabers for a sec and like, let's just listen to each other.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing. I'm like, I can't understand people saying it's too much Star Wars. Guys, we wouldn't even have any Star Wars if, so I don't know. It's just like, either you have like, oh, wait, now we're getting all these Star Wars movies. Well, we got 18 movies in 10 years from Marvel. No one's complaining about that. Like, so I don't know.
Well, more to your point about you're not really sure what to make of this movie as far as like whatever. Maybe it's okay. So if there's a great movie, like blows you away, it's greater than the sum of its parts, right?
Yes, correct. Well, it affects.
I think Solo would be the sum is equal to, or the whole is equal to the sum of its parts.
Yeah,
where it's like everything's done competently, but it's not gonna, you know, blow you out of the sky with, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like, again, going back to Last Jedi, I don't think Rian Johnson set out to make a bad movie, nor did Ron Howard say, oh, I'm just going to keep this pile of crap. I need to make a movie that is up to his standards. You know what I'm saying? So, again, no one at Lucasfilm is like, let's make a crummy movie so the Star Wars fans can be really mad at us and boycott us forever. You know, so, I mean,
although,
again,
if you cruise YouTube a lot, you'll see why Kathleen Kennedy hates the Star Wars fan base.
Right.
Why Lawrence Kasdan must be stopped.
I know. So
like, let's stop being silly, shall we? How about that?
That sounds good. But again, I don't know. I'm not really sure. So why don't we just, okay, so spoiler review, non-spoiler, we're pretty good with it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
go see it. You probably won't regret it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for listeners that haven't seen it, go see it, put it, and then you come back to this, because now we're going into spoilers.
Spoiler territory. Should I make a pre-made sound effect for when we go into spoiler mode?
Sure. Yeah,
it's
sure.
like we go into hyperspace.
Yeah, or like Jar Jar or something.
Little R2 scream.
Yeah, R2 scream. Yeah, exactly. But that's the other thing that really bothers me about people are like, oh, the spoilers are out. Guys, we're in a day and age like you just can't look at a phone. If you don't want to look at, it's pretty simple. Basically, the only way you're going to find out spoilers is literally by looking at your phone.
Yes.
So if you don't want to be like, and people like, oh, I got spoiled and I read this article or whatever. Well, don't
read
Twitter.
it.
Yeah. Right. It's right in the title. Well, of course, it's all about clickbait. They want to get you,
It's like you're riding a bike and you stick a metal rod into the spokes and then you wonder why you fell off. It's like,
or it's like you're looking at a fire and you touch it. Like, don't touch the fire, It's like, I don't know. That gets me like, oh, spoilers. Dude, you can totally do it. You just don't look at your phone. So anyways.
But Todd, I'm gonna then go back to what you were saying. If we're looking at spoilers in the same component, then just don't look at the spoilers.
Right.
If you, after enjoying it, are then presented with this are all the reasons why it was a horrible movie.
Yeah.
You're inviting in the bad juju, if you will, about it. Again, not in they make a good point, but that shouldn't diminish, your liking of the film just because they don't like it.
True, but again, I know I'm not going to speak for Aaron, but I am going to speak for Aaron. I felt like we got that with Last Jedi, because I felt like we both enjoyed it, and then everyone was like, I was like, well, there's parts that made me feel good about it. It's not like that's, and again, it goes back to there are questionable things probably in here in Solo as well as Last Jedi. So, but you're right, Heather. It's like you're almost inviting the negativity in when you're like looking. But again, I also want to be, I guess, grounded and saying, okay, I want to hear other people's opinions and why they didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So maybe that could help me, see different points of views. And not just be like, I don't want to be this Star Wars fan, like Star Wars is everything and it's 10 stars, because it's not. You're not going to touch Empire for me. You can't. It has to be like the greatest thing, I don't know. Yoda has to ride on some cloud of I don't know. Something has to happen, All right, so why don't we jump right in it? So we start off in Corellia, which is the birthplace of Han Solo, and that's also the birthplace of the Millennium Falcon. And
it's also a horrible place to be.
It's also a horrible place. So this it got almost like a Coruscant vibe a little bit. It's like industrial, and a lot of this was shot in called Folly Power Station, which is like an abandoned power station that was built in the mid 1960s, and this is where some of the leaked photos came from, where they had a lot of the speeder chases. So we get the proverbial scum rat Han Solo, and that's how we meet Kiera and Han Solo. So what are your kind of opening thoughts of? Well, first of all, let's even back up a little further. No crawl. What do you think of just the texts update, basically?
Well, it seems to confirm that for the spin-off movies, to distinguish them from the, let's say, traditional trilogy movies, that they're not going to have the crawl, because Rogue One had no crawl. It was just like, and then it's just straight into the movie. This time it's a bit more gentle, and it gives us a little text preamble. Yeah. But I mean, I can accept that. I know some people are going to be like, every Star Wars movie needs a crawl. But,
well, there's two that don't. So sorry, man.
Yeah.
Girl.
Heather, how about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Okay. I'm kind of in the same vein. It's separate than the original trilogy, prequel, back end. They are spin-offs. They're individual stories amongst themselves. So my brain can rationalize that it's okay to be different.
I did dig when they kind of do the flyover and how they presented the solo a Star Wars story. I dug that. I thought that was kind of cool. I did not dig the Rogue One font that they used. But I really did dig how they kind of presented that and like kind of flow through it from a camera perspective. So that was cool. Basically we get Han hot wiring a car and he takes off. I thought that was a very cool introduction too. I liked how, kind of see him hot wiring it and then he kind of shoots up in the seat. I thought that was kind of a cool introduction to Han.
Makes me think of what was the one George Lucas film that he worked on? American Graffiti.
Yeah.
Where you got your jalopies and that people are souping up and
yeah.
Han's just stealing them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then he steals a car, gets chased. And then he goes back to basically the White Worms, which are kind of like this, street rat gang. And that's where we get introduced to Kiera. They do a little kissy kiss face. And he stole, what's the word? Veraxium? Am I saying that right? Am I saying that right?
I believe so. It's
right to me.
It's hyperfuel. I don't know why they just didn't call
coaxium.
it hyperfuel.
I think it's coaxium. Coaxium is it? Yeah.
I prefer hyperfuel, but whatever.
Yeah, and it's worth a lot of money. They want to get off planet, and then one of Lady Proxima's hoodlums catches up to Han. They go meet Lady Proxima. Pretty cool puppet. It's pretty awesome, I thought.
That thing was a huge puppet?
Yes, of
course. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Hey, if they could make a sea cow, like a 17-foot sea cow in Last Jedi, they can make that thing was totally animatronic puppet.
Oh, Thomas, why do you doubt?
Yeah, exactly.
Some people are saying this part of the movie on Corellia and with Lady Proxima is like the only remnants of the work of the previous two directors on this.
Yeah, Lorde and Miller. Because it's funny.
Yeah.
He makes
it's kind of goofy.
Yeah. He clicks the rock and says he's got a thermal detonator, and Lady Proxima basically says, you just clicked a rock and you made a clicking sound,
Yeah, with your mouth.
Yeah. So
that did feel odd, but kind of felt like a naive something a naive Han Solo would do. But at the same time, it also felt like, am I watching Solo or Star-Lord?
Oh, sure.
Right. Yeah. So he throws the rock, not the thermal detonator, into the skylight, and apparently they don't like light. So she's like, my eyes! And she goes back in the water, make a quick escape. And again, this is kind of a cool. We saw some of this in the trailer, but you kind of get the Tokyo Drift chase scene through the shipyards of Corellia. I thought this was really well shot. I thought this was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. I mean, you get a little pod racer kind of feel to it because, like, I forget the dude that's chasing him, but basically one of her henchmen, he's got a big old speeder and, gets up right behind Solo and Kiera. And I thought that was kind of cool. Kind of had that Sebulba Anakin kind of vibe, and also really kind of street racing, I really like the bit too where the protocol droid's like, needs the proper access, and then the other guy hits him and he's like protocol or something when he falls to the ground. I thought that was a good bit. And then he does the sideways thing through a little narrow alley and he gets stuck, which I thought was also kind of cool too. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I overall liked the opening scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
It initially felt really dark. Like I couldn't see the screen well because until you see what the actual quote unquote set is, like where they're located, you're like, oh, I get it. Never mind. And then just the chase scene. Again, going into a story, not really knowing what you're getting, just the beginnings, introduction of Solo. Mm-hmm. Or Han at this point, excuse me. He
well played. Yes.
Thank you. Stay tuned, folks. Some might say, wow, this is really funny and annoying. And who's this kid? I'm like, well, because he's a kid and he thinks he knows what he's doing in escaping. Yeah. So it felt correct.
Yeah.
To be like, oh no, I can totally fit through this thing vertically, and then no, you kind of can't.
You can't.
That's the thing you have to remember with Han is like he's a risk taker.
Yeah.
And because of his luck, it usually pays off. But sometimes it doesn't.
And sometimes
it doesn't. Right. Exactly. Then they basically try to get off planet from Corellia. Obviously, for me, this is pretty. I love this part because, first of all, there's a ton of stormtroopers, and I just really liked. It felt very like Eastern European, I guess. Like if you didn't, it's kind of like you can't, or like border patrol. Like you really
like
can't
a communist
get off.
bloc.
Yeah, I love the feel of this. I loved how, again, like the Imperials are corrupt and, they try to bribe they have no documentation or ID, but they got the coaxium. It's like, hey, and Solo's like, put it in. And then they get kind of split up. And I just loved it. I thought that was a really good emotional scene. Like, and then, Solo goes right into street rat mode and basically grabs a coat, grabs a hat off a kid, and kind of hides down. And it's like, I don't know. I got to play my next move, and I don't know what it is. And then he sees the Imperial recruitment thing. And this is kind of Easter egg, and it's kind of meta, but it's still very cool. And I have to mention it now, but the Imperial March was playing.
Yes, here's the thing: it was in a major key.
Yeah.
They changed the key so it's like all positive and like propagandistic, and I'm whoa, that sounds weird, but it's so cool because it fits with the theme.
The poster, and there's like a couple posters that like got that, just got that inspirational, like, hey, join the Imperial Army. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love this, But yeah, so he goes in there, and again, their casting's spot on with Imperials. So like the little guy, the guy that's kind of checking him in, I just love that guy. He was like straight up Imperial.
Oh yeah, like total bureaucrat, doesn't want to be there, but still like he's the gatekeeper with all the power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Heather, what does he do for Han?
So I just love it. Han's like, his name is Han, and who are your people? Where are you from? And he's like, I'm alone. And so this officer is like, all right, Solo. And then you're just like, everyone in the, auditorium's like, that's it. That's our baby. All growing up.
Right. Well, and it's not too cheesy, actually.
No.
He's like, I have no people. I have no family. And he takes a minute. It's like, he's not going to call him Han alone.
That's dumb for an officer.
That's dumb. Yeah, but it's in his name of where we meet him in A New Hope. He is all about himself, and the fact that he doesn't come from a family because he's a street kid, it kind of makes sense that he has that name, and it's the Imperial Army gave it to him, which is even better. So that's kind of cool. So we get that. So now he gets off planet. Kiera is taken back by the White Worms and Beck, and you don't see each other. And then we get the 3 years later. Mm-hmm. So Aaron, I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about this. This is probably I know this is your favorite part. Yeah.
One last thing about Corellia.
Yeah. Sure.
Child slaves. Crime syndicates.
It's a thing.
pretty dark for Star Wars.
It's a thing, yeah.
But we asked for the seedy underbelly, the dark grit of Star Wars society, and we got it.
We got it. Yeah, we got it.
Just didn't want that to go unannounced.
They weren't selling candy.
No, they were not.
Yeah.
But then we get transported 3 years into the future across the galaxy to Mimban, which basically it's like World War I trench warfare, the planet.
Yeah. Dude, this is so good. And it's all fake. It's in a this is shot at Pinewood Studios on the biggest sound stage of them all, and that's the 007 sound stage in Pinewood. Ooh. Yeah. So this is all in controlled space, but oh man, it looks so good. It looks so good. So he's not flying, he's not a space pilot, he's a grunt soldier. And then this is where he's kind of trying to follow orders, and his captain gets blown up, so he's kind of retreating back. And as he falls, he kind of looks to Horizon, and there's Beckett flipping his guns, just having a good old time, shooting people down. And he's like, I'm going to follow this guy. So we get a quick introduction to Becket, Val, and soon to be Rio. But basically we get 3 soldiers, and he kind of follows orders, and then they try to... and they kind of make it, basically. You make it to the point where they're at, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But we kind of get a hint that Beckett and company are not really Imperial soldiers.
No.
But they are criminal opportunists looking to steal a ship.
Yeah. Well, because the one soldier that's all mud troopered up, he kind of pulls his pants up with another arm. So
awkward.
Got him.
Awkward. And again, I think it goes into what Solo is. He understands scams, cons, that kind of thing. He could kind of see through it.
Yep. And
he's not totally bought into the Imperial work anyway. So he's kind of like, okay, maybe this is my out. He's always looking for a way out at this point, So he basically tries to blackmail Beckett, and Beckett basically turns him right in and is like, yeah, you're not going to play that card. And Solo, again, thought he had the upper hand, but Beckett, being the cool guy he is like, no, I outrank you, and even though I'm fake, it still works, Yeah. So he gets thrown into the beasts. This is probably, like, the way this is shot... I thought this was awesome. I thought the reveal of Chewbacca was awesome.
As the Beast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sat in my chair and I literally was like, please be Chewbacca, please be Chewbacca, please be Chewbacca.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny you say that. On the second viewing, I saw it with my son Trent, and he was scared. He's like, whoa, I was like, it's okay. Because, I mean, again, the way they shot it, it's so good because you don't. I was thinking the whole way, I'm like, this is Chewie too. But I'm like, wait a minute, maybe, maybe it couldn't be. But yeah, it's Chewbacca. And I thought this was really well played out as far as how they interact. And, so basically, Chewie doesn't like him and strangling him and basically sinks him in the mud, which has a very almost looks kind of carbonite-ish. I don't know if you caught that.
Todd, save that for the Easter egg episode.
Some of these are going to come out. Yeah, I'll repeat that on the Easter eggs. But yeah, we're going to have an Easter egg episode of all the Easter eggs because there's so much. There's many layers.
Big Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, there's a lot of eggs. So that's 2. The Imperial March and then this one. Those are 2 freebies. I'll try to keep it quiet from here on out. But okay. So then before he gets sucked into the mud, he speaks a little Shiruk, and Chewie's like, huh?
What?
What? And so basically they fake him out and they get out of a quick bind there. I thought that was cool too, how Chewie threw him up from the pit.
Yeah. Alley-oop.
You go up there.
So it's kind of like you get the chain gang and Chewie's going one way, Han's going the other way, and Chewie's basically winning, but he's like, we got to go this way,
Yeah.
Yep.
Again,
I thought that was a wonderful
he's-
way to establish the partnership between these two guys.
They have to work together even though they don't know each other. I thought that was really well done too, for sure. And Beckett and Crew get a hauler and they're about to leave and they're kind of waving them down, I thought that was cool too. I thought that was really cool.
As far as they, Han tried to get in just by blackmailing, kind of bluffing his way in. That didn't work. So he had to go the hard way and actually prove his resourcefulness. And Rio actually sees something in him and kind of convinces Beckett to touch down and take him on.
I just want to note for the record, I called it straight that Jon Favreau played it straight. He didn't even do anything to his voice. It was straight up Jon Favreau.
It's totally Jon Favreau.
And it was awesome. It's like, we brought a Wookiee, and then he's like, this kid's growing on me. I really just loved Rio from the get-go. And I was like, Favreau just playing it straight up. And I just loved that.
Yeah, he's more charismatic than people give him credit for. I'll give him that.
Yes, exactly. So now basically they get off planet. They're all happy family. Very cool scene. I thought this was awesome. Is Han? This is a cool shot. They show Han kind of showering. They just show his feet and the mud coming off of him.
I forgot about that part.
and then Chewie comes in, and I just love that part. I think it's awesome. It's like, dude. I mean, can you just give me a little space? And I thought that was really fun. I thought that was well played and well executed. Yeah, it's cute. Yeah. I don't know if that's Lorde and Miller or is that Ron Howard, but still the way.
Honestly, I don't care.
It was fun. It was fun. So, and then we get the bit from the trailer, which is basically, Chewie says his name and Han says that's too long and I'm just going to call you Chewie, So then they're on Vandor, which is the mountainous, snowy planet. Not a real place, but they took a lot of ideas from Chile and Italy to get kind of that surroundings of what they want for Vandor. And so basically they do a little scouting and you get to look, kind of get a feel for Beckett and Val a little bit. And it's just, I think there's a really cool, tight bit with when they're around the campfire. I thought that was kind of cool. Rio cooking 5 things at once or 4 things at once because he got 4 arms. I thought that was a nice little bit, and just they show Val and kind of Beckett together, which was cool. What do you guys thought of that?
I liked it.
Yeah,
it was a good scene. I mean, I think it's hard when you have a need for a scene like that where you have to slow down and kind of establish character a little bit outside of the chaos of the movie, if you will. But I think they did it really well. And I think the comedic element, was definitely there.
Well, and it's not out of place. It's not out of place, I also like, this is where we saw this a little bit in the trailer, but basically, Beckett breaks down a gun and it turns into the DL-44, and he kind of kisses it and then gives it to Han, which I thought was a kind of cool way to get his first basically sidearm. I thought that was awesome.
Well, it kind of symbolizes transformation. Because Solo's becoming a different person by stepping into the criminal world. And Beckett's kind of changing by becoming a mentor, and so it's a neat little package to wrap it all up in.
Little package, right? Well, and again, we're seeing this is kind of parallel Han and Luke. Luke kind of goes through that too, but this is a different mentorship. We kind of talked about that. I think Aaron, you even talked about that, having Beckett not as Obi-Wan is a totally different role, as a mentor. And there's a little bit of Return of the Jedi with when he faced the Beast, which was, Luke was with the Rancor, but now Han was with a Wookiee, totally two different situations, but kind of the coming of age. But like you said, it's like, this is Han's lightsaber moment, basically, which is kind of cool. So now this is the heist. This is the train heist.
Hooray.
Big train heist. Hooray.
This is what I was looking forward to.
Yeah. So they're getting a whole lot of coaxium. That's the prize on this train. And so Beckett basically said he got an informant with a good lead, and so everything's going swimmingly. They get on top of the train, and the coaxium's there, and they're ready to go. And here comes the foil. So the foil is Effie's nest, and they're Cloud Riders. And this is where I thought the music was top notch on this one.
Yeah.
Fabuloso.
I agree.
Fabuloso. So yeah, what do you think of this the train heists, Heather?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think the scenery, the plan, definitely unexpected ending. I don't know if we're going there yet.
We're going there. You can go there.
Okay. There may have been some gasping on my part, because it was just so early on in the film to lose kind of main people. And so I think it really, as I look back at it, it made a lot of sense for the development of the Beckett character. But to see Han make a decision to ditch the shipment, I mean, and to have Val sacrifice herself for the purpose of the mission. You're like, wow, this is all exciting and it's happening, and the troopers, and it's all their magnetic shoes, and you're like, oh, you're all right, you're having this great heist moment, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, like that went
just got real.
That just went real fast. And so I think it was a good 10-15 minutes of a lot of emotion. That really sets the good rest of the movie with Beckett and Han and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a good sign that they made you care about Rio and Val in very little time.
Yes,
very little time.
So,
right.
Good job, movie.
Good job, movie. So
gold star on your forehead.
So they gone. They're out of it, and this is where we get introduction to Voss's yacht, which is like this huge ship, huge, and huge elevator up, and basically Beckett basically has to. He conveniently showed up where the shipment was supposed to be, and they don't have it, so they basically have to go to Voss and kind of explain what's going on. So our first introduction to Voss is that he kills a guy. So,
just straight up stabs him.
Okay.
Stabs him. Yeah, he just kind of stabs him, and then we get a cool mini. It's part of Star Wars thing. We get like the little cantina. Got a little frog thing singing, and a girl with a weird voice mask singing. So that was kind of cool. And it's kind of a tight little like bar, basically like a sky bar, And this is where we get introduced to Han now basically hooks up with Kiera again. So now we get Kiera in a different space. And I thought this was pretty well done, and Beckett's like, dude, don't be talking to anybody. And turns out Kiera is connected to Voss. So I thought that was interesting. Thoughts on that, Aaron?
Well.
This
kind of ties into some some grievances I have with some characters throughout the course of the movie. It's like, okay, so Han's away from Corellia, makes a solemn vow to return to rescue Kiera, and
I will find you.
Yeah, and so he finds her, and it's just throughout the movie, it's kind of like a will they won't they thing, because she keeps like swearing that she's changed, that she's a different person than he remembers.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't really go anywhere satisfying for me, where they, kind of at the end, do this power move thing where she kind of, it's confusing. She like assumes power by, killing off Dryden, and then, but then, I mean, we're in spoiler town, dude.
We're
but
going
then
way
like
fast. No, it's fine. We could stop
to be
on Kiera
like,
right now. Yeah.
I mean, she seems to be also be taking orders from a certain prequel character, Darth Maul.
What?
Which that in itself we'll get to, but
oh,
and then it's like she's got nothing for Han, and it's like, I don't know.
It didn't pay off. It
just felt like
it doesn't.
Yeah, it could have developed into something complex and satisfying, but it just seems like they didn't even go for the angle where she's fallen in love with somebody else while he was puttering about for 3 years.
Yeah.
And that could have been really, really satisfying to see that kind of unfold, but because finally we have some sense of romance in a Star Wars movie.
What?
Seriously, it's like
none of this like Finn kind of likes Rey and
all right,
kind of likes Poe. And...
Well, Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi. It's like everyone's neutered, and it's like nobody feels anything for anybody else, and it's like no.
Right, yeah, we're just friends.
The romance.
We're really good friends. Yeah.
And it's like, here's the romance. Go see Solo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for Kiera is one of the characters that kind of just didn't pay off. I thought again, this is kind of a weird thing, but I feel like Emilia Clarke acted well. I just felt like it didn't deliver. Like the whole thing didn't deliver. And maybe it's just because she was a slave for one thing, and then a slave for the Crimson Dawn, and she wants to be still part of that. And just, I didn't get the reasoning at the end, I guess.
That's the thing, maybe, is like most of the characters in the movie, they have clear motivations for what they want. And I think they tried to like reverse that with Kiera by kind of clouding like what it is that she wants, but then it's really hard to care about her as a character because we want to know what she wants so that we can either like root for it or against it. We never really even figure that out, even after the movie.
Yeah. Heather, newsflash, you're a girl, so
oh, good to know. Okay.
Yeah, good to know.
We're going there, are we?
Yeah, this is where I really value a different, a female perspective. So Heather, lay it on us. Like, I don't know. Is Kiera?
Yeah.
What did you feel about Kiera?
So I believe in last week's episode, I made a statement of, I hope she's not just a pretty lady that they put in the film.
This is true.
So I will say that harpy music.
Right.
So I will say that they fulfilled that for me, that she wasn't just a pretty face. However, I really liked her for probably the first fourth of the film.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it kept being more like wishy-washy until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And because when they were the kids and they were trying to make their getaway, and I'm like, I get it. She's hesitant. It's legit. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's fine.
It's like a Bonnie and Clyde relationship.
Yes, perfect. Yep. Then when we're reintroduced to her again with Dryden Voss, I'm like, okay, I'll buy this. Survivor got redrawn to a different group of bad people.
But then they show the tattoo, which Han knows is not a good thing. It's almost like a branding.
Right, exactly. Right. But, there is a, oh crap, I forgot what it's called now that I'm on the spot, but where, a prisoner attaches to,
Stockholm Syndrome.
Thank you.
See? Community. And so... And
togetherness, oneness.
Okay, I'll buy this. And then when it was revealed at the end, as we've already just learned, that she, kills Dryden and is now in, cahoots.
Kind of control.
Kind of in control. I'm like...
She doesn't go for Han.
I'm okay that there's not a romance element to it. I just like, well, then if you're going to go dark, go dark. I wish maybe that there would have been an earlier acknowledgement of that.
Yeah, I need a flashback of her being like really bad, like doing something horrible.
So whether that's coming, I don't know if she's in another extended version of this, but I felt like I'm rooting for you in the beginning.
Yeah. And then
and then there's this weird middle game, and then there's the end. And I just didn't feel like they transitioned her well from beginning to end of movie.
Right. I mean,
it felt like a weird reversal of like a Twilight romance where she's like the dark and brooding type, and she's like, you just wouldn't understand. Where it's like, what's that guy's name? Robert Pattinson's character from
Edward.
Edward, yeah. Where he's like the brooding type where he's like, I've done things you just wouldn't understand. It's like, okay, what are those things? Are you going to tell us? No? Yeah. Okay, I'll stop caring then.
Yeah. I agree with you, Todd. I think she acted it beautifully with what was provided. I just, something got missed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the lady villain too. Like I'm all for that. It doesn't, again, like you said, it doesn't have to be a pretty lady. I'm not asking that everything has to be a love romance, but to Aaron's point, we've kind of lacked that in the last couple movies, like even Cassian and Jin, they have that moment in the elevator, but it's not really romantic. It's just like, we're both going to die. So let's be buds. They don't even kiss at the end. Yeah, just give him a kiss or whatever. I don't know. Right. Do we just kiss or something? But I'm okay with her being bad. I don't know. It kind of falls flat at the end, I think. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say there is a romance in this film. We just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, yeah. So then they get reacquainted. And basically, this is the second part of the plot, really. It's just establishing now that Beckett and Han basically lost the coaxium, they have to find there's a way to get more of this, and really it's on Kessel, which has unprocessed coaxium, and then they're like, okay, let's put this in play.
Well, I'm gonna go back for like 30 seconds. I love Lando. I will fully admit I have a huge crush on this guy right now. He's very suave in the capes, and I'm just saying, this is good storytelling right here. But
he's dreamy.
He is dreamy. I know. But yeah, but obviously, L3, what we have seen in previews, obviously she's got a little extra kick to her, which we love. Right. But I was so not expecting what we got out of L3, which is really this like women's lib for droids, power to the people kind of Uh-oh, someone's having a moment.
Just underscoring what you're saying.
Oh, yes. So, again, she just was really funny on first take because it's just not something I've seen in a droid before. Just to have that much, and just the more that you see her interact with Lando as they are leaving and, you know, going to the ship, you just know they're going to have a good interaction. And this is the love story I'm talking about. Here is your love story in the movie between these two.
It just looks a little bit different.
It just looks different. Potentially no kissing, but that's okay.
Oh.
So I loved her. I think she's great. I mean, just her interacting with Kiera, I think was just awkward and funny about how, like, she's the one that's like, oh, well, you know, this relationship between me and Lando just isn't going to work, even though he's obviously attracted to me. I mean, that's just funny. It's just funny.
You like that?
I did.
Okay.
It's okay if I'm the only one in the world that did. I thought it was funny.
Okay. I can dig that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, okay. Like I said, I listened to Last Shot, and their relationship is really well established in that book. And I digged her character in that book. I just didn't dig her in this movie, actually. I don't know. Kiera and L3 are the ones, and to Aaron's point, I just...
If you could call that a point.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know if this is just, again, this is where you kind of get these really, is this Disney pushing this? Is this, you know, Kasdian pushing this? Is this Lucasfilm? You know, I get the equal rights thing. I think is a cool angle, especially from a droid perspective, because again, droids don't really have a say in what they do, and I totally get that. But just like, this gets back to last week with Lando being a pansexual, so that includes droids now. I don't know. It just, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know.
I think that's what happens when you create characters that are more like walking ideologies than actual, you know, characters. Characters, right? And that's what I feel L3 kind of represents. Where I just imagine this Disney boardroom meeting where they're like, "Okay, Lorde and Miller or Ron Howard, you know, at whatever stage they were at, they're like, okay, well." Right. We need a strong female character. And he's like, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Val. Yeah, gotcha. Kiera. Gotcha. No. We need a strong female character. And so they go through their Rolodex of stereotypes and they're like, this'll do. And then they, you know, just structure L3 around that, where it's like, that's not how you write a character. You don't start with the end in mind. You kind of, you know, you start with what you think is like the germination of what a character might be, and then you just kind of let it grow into whatever it ends up turning out to be. I mean, you know, Han Solo himself started out as just like a smuggler in a cantina who has a pretty fast ride, but you know, as we see him develop over the course of the trilogy, it's like he becomes a lot more complex and it's representative of this thing that you can't quite put into words. And you don't get that with L3. You get something that you could just pin down in a few sentences about everything that she is. And it's like, there's so much more that could be there.
Right. Exactly. Kiera and L3 didn't do it for me. And then there's the weird moment. Like, what did you get? Okay. So they're like, okay, we're going to get off planet now and we're going to go see the Millennium Falcon, which, you know, we knew was coming. What did you really think about her in the buzzsaw moment? It's kind of like these sexual undertones. And I'm like, okay, this is weird.
That was awkward.
I mean,
which part was this? Was this when she was chatting with Kiera?
No.
No.
This is before the chat. This is like this is a shot in the trailer where we get Lando in that pimpin' black fur coat, and there's like these flashes, and it's L3 like buzzsawing through the gate, and she's like,
"Oh, I can't
perform with you guys looking," and I'm just like,
"Yeah, that's really
why?
Really, why they want to make us all feel awkward?"
It's a whole sexual thing, and I'm just like, this is weird, Weird.
Okay. Do you think that was Lorde and Miller? Can we blame everything bad on Lorde and Miller?
Right. So I thought that was weird too. I was like, okay, whatever. So they get
Did
there.
You have to explain to Trent afterward what was going on?
No.
Okay, good.
No, that
Thank
part,
goodness.
no. Yeah, exactly. So now we get to the Falcon, which is great reveal. I clapped. I'm like, but it's booted. It's got a boot. So Lando's again, Lando's stuck, so it helps, so Beckett and Chewbacca have to help out, but now they get off planet, and Effie's nest shows her face again, or his face. Spoiler, sorry. She's put a tracking beacon on the old ship, So they get, they're being tracked. So now she's basically saying, or she's basically saying, that they're going to do the run for her, and then they'll pay it off at the end. So that's good. So now, we get really kind of an introduction to the Falcon again, which I think, again, this is all really well shot, because we're all kind of familiar with it, but since it's brand spanking new, you kind of get these kind of cool camera angles. And I really do love this part when Han enters the cockpit. They do a really cool shot of him, the camera's behind him, and then when he sits down, and he kind of got that smile on his face when they go into hyperdrive.
Oh, that was awesome.
This part, I was just like, oh yeah, this is the feels. I love that. I love it because it's like, we've seen it and we're familiar with it, and we understand like how Han, Chewie, and the Falcon are all kind of mishmashed together in this wonderful symbioology, basically. But getting to see it kind of from a new perspective of him, I thought this was really well shot and really well done.
Yeah, I mean, that look on his face is basically like the look of everyone in the audience's face.
It's like, oh, this is happening.
Well, it's like he's finally found a ride worthy of him, I guess. Or like he's finally got it. It's like, okay, this is my way out.
I think of it as just a little bit too, like he's been dreaming about this moment for a long time. And even though this isn't his ship, the sense that there's like this kind of freedom point and they're on like what he's been really wanting to do, it's that kind of like satisfaction, like, oh my gosh, this is actually really happening, So I thought that was cool,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is where we get little cape, and this is kind of cute, and I think from a Kiera perspective, trying on Lando's capes, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was a little funny.
That was good, and I really think this is the George Lucas shot. It's almost shot for Empire and how it's shot, and I thought it was really well played.
Han and the kissing Kiera?
Yeah.
That was a shot for shot remake.
Yeah, and then
including Beckett walking in.
Yeah, Beckett doing the C-3PO and
that's another reference.
Well,
cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, and then we get a little Kiera. This is the Kiera L3 conversation. What did you think of this, Heather?
Again, okay. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But I guess I should clarify, part of the reason I think it's funny is I didn't take L3 seriously at all.
Oh.
So I feel like she just was talking.
Mm.
And I think the reason she was just so free with her mouth is because she's with Lando, who was a smuggler and just needed a co-pilot. So I thought it was funny. But I don't take L3 as a droid as seriously as I do like R2 or even C-3PO.
Or K2.
Or K2 for that matter. And K2's on the lower part of my list. So.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry.
We can have that conversation later. So I don't dislike K2. He's just not in the top. Anyway, so yeah.
We'll have a ranking droids episode just for Heather. Which is like,
so
the top 20 droids.
Yes,
here we go.
So I thought it was funny that they tried to have this like girl to girl conversation. And I think Kira's face basically said what I was thinking is, how am I having this serious conversation with you? I can't take you seriously as a droid.
Or as a character.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're in Kessel.
Tune in next week for WSTR's Solo Review Part 2, where we pick up at the Kessel Run.
All right, moving on to Cantina Chat. Besides seeing some Solo movie, anything else nerdy going on, Mr. Aaron? Are you any Star Wars things going on?
Dude, I'm afraid not. I've been super busy with work. They're cracking the whip. I mean,
You're bounty hunting on bugs, right? You're a bug zapper. You're like
That's true. I worked on Memorial Day too, but dude, I got time and a half. Bugs don't rest, man. Neither do we. But hey, I got time and a half, so there's that.
Hey, there you go. That's awesome.
But
you're like the bug bounty hunter.
Yeah. When I can scrape up some more free time, I'll probably play some more Knights of the Old Republic 2.
There you go.
Or
there you go.
I might go digging for a new audiobook. Because now I got so much time on the road.
That's right. All right, Heather, anything else besides seeing Solo over this last week?
Well, so this past weekend, outside of seeing Solo, started doing some cleanup at my brother Bruce's house as part of, distributing his estate and what have you. And I have uncovered quite a bit of Star Wars things. I've got some books and some comics, and may or may not have stumbled across some video games and PC games that I'll have to have my podcast guys help me figure out what to do with them.
Sure.
You're just spoiled silly.
Oh, man. So, well, obviously, it's not a great reason to now have them, but I'm happy to and honored to hopefully carry on Bruce's Star Wars love and continue to gain my knowledge and what have you.
You did wear Bruce's t-shirt to the showing, correct?
I did. I went through all of Bruce's Star Wars t-shirts to find the best one to wear to Solo, and I wore a Millennium Falcon t-shirt.
Well played.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
that's great.
He's proud of you.
I
hope so.
Yeah.
And I do think he would have enjoyed the movie.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go. Yeah. That's awesome. That's good. Todd? Yes, I saw Solo twice.
Great.
So that was fun. I also, this has also been a little tradition of mine. Basically get the art of book. So I got the art of Solo book. Oh, it's so good. I just eat up every page. So I'm kind of reading through that this weekend, which is a lot of fun. A lot of fun little facts. I always kind of like to see how the story unfolds. And there's such good artwork. I can't even believe how awesomeness. But yeah, so did that. I did a 501st Troop Sunday at Legoland, which was a lot of fun. So every Memorial Day weekend, Legoland in Schaumburg here in Illinois does like a little 501st thing. So
awesome.
I got to dress up as a stormtrooper, so that's always fun. And then just have to plug next week. So next Saturday, which is June 2nd, is the 9th annual Star Wars Day at the Joliet Library. It's from 11 to 4 in Joliet. You can look it up on the Facebook or Google it. And basically just Google Joliet Star Wars Day or Library Day, and you can find it, all the information there. But it is a hoot. It's going to be from 11 to 4 on June 2nd. And if you want to see, if you thought C2E2 was good, there's going to be a ton of Stormtroopers and 501st and Rebel Legion there at the Joliet Library.
Is it going to be 95 degrees?
If it's 95 degrees, I do sweats for Star Wars. It's fine. It's okay.
I do think it's going to be a little cooler. So
I hope
I'm
so.
hoping.
Yeah.
I too will be there.
Oh, yay. We on Sunday, it was pretty hot. It was like 90 something or whatever. And so we went outside to take a couple pictures. I'm like, oh man, this is like a preview for next week because it was blasting. Yeah, newsflash, plastic does not breathe. So it's like, it's pretty tight and pretty toasty. You're like toasting in that, but it was fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And even a more plug, we have a Rogue One tank coming to, it's going to be in the parade. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that. So
nice. All right, I've got
awesome.
73 next Saturday, people.
Oh, that's perfect.
Come
that's
out.
Perfect.
You know, it was so hot today that they canceled the Naperville Memorial Day Parade.
Stop.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
They just straight up canceled it. Yeah. And yesterday,
Wow.
Route 59, like concrete was just like buckling up and becoming loose because it was so hot.
It's like Mustafar. It's like boiling.
Yeah.
It's boiling.
Oh my gosh.
Come visit Illinois.
Illinois.
See what you've been missing.
Yeah, it's like sink hose to show up, It's like Mustafar. Lava's just coming out of anywhere.
Yep.
So
No, that's Hawaii.
But anyways, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So hopefully it won't be as hot. But anyways, if you're in the Midwest, come out and see Joliet Library Star Wars Day. It's going to be awesome. So, all right. So why don't I wrap us up here? So thanks again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. You can check us again on the social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can comment, tweet, rate us on iTunes, and we will get to reviews in the part 2 episode of our solo. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com, or you can leave us a voicemail, 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. Yeah, you can leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on an upcoming episode. And you can check out all our catalog of episodes at www.wstrmedia.com. That's www.wstrmedia.com. Geez, say that 5 times fast. Next week, we will basically be talking about more Solo because there's just a lot to unpack. So we'll pick up our part 2 of Solo next week. Now there's only one way to end this.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Yep.
Now this
Now
is